Hey guys, in this video we're going to be painting the monster, so get your canvas out and ready. You're going to need your plate with your paints put on there, an assortment of brushes, and a towel to dry your brushes off after cleaning them, and your jar of water. So make sure you have some kind of vessel of water. I'm going to get us started with the background, this area behind the monster. I'm going to make a nice dark blue. So with my blue on my plate, I'm just going to take a scoop of black, stir that in. You want more blue than black. And I'm also going to stir in a little bit of white. And you see, my hand tends to be in the way, so I'm just trying not to do that. So I've got this nice deep kind of slatey blue, and I'm just going to come in and fill in my whole background. Just nice, smooth, even coat of paint. Try not to have any globbies. If you do, just smooth them out. Right now I got some globbies up here, but eventually I'll get them all spread around. Just taking my time around the edges. And you may want to do 2 coats. This does come up a little bit streaky just because it's a dark color. It's hard to get that bright white canvas covered in just 1 coat. I'm just going to do 1 for the sake of the video. Feel free to take your time and do a second. Just make sure you let the first coat dry before you go in and do the second. Okay, so I'm just going to touch up right here, kind of thin. Okay, next I'm going to do my monster, and he is green. I'm going to be mixing up a shade of green. Gonna be kind of a limey green. Let's get my brush cleaned out. So, let's see. I'm gonna take just a little bit of blue on my brush and stir it in with a lot of yellow. Make this nice yellowy green. And I'm gonna add white. And after I add white, I might decide to add a little bit more of the blue to make it a little darker. Because once I add the white, it's gonna be very yellowy, I think. So it's a lot of white. Yes, it's very yellowy. And I want that a little bit more green. So to do that, I'm just going to take a little bit more blue. That was a lot of blue. See how quickly that churned with the blue? I'm going to take a little bit more white. There's a lot of white in this color. A little bit more white. So I've got like 3 nice big scoops of white in here, I think. Okay. If you want to, before you start, I mean, it's just a smile, and I'm pretty sure you guys can do that on your own. You don't need this drawn on. But if you want to just make sure you're going to be able to see it through the paint so we can paint right over it, just take a permanent black marker. Sharpie is recommended. Definitely needs to be permanent, otherwise the ink from the marker is going to bleed into your paint. And you don't want that, because it will change the color of your paint. So I'm going to kind of avoid that for now, because I want to make sure it's nice and dry before I paint over it. And I'm just going to fill in my whole monster's head. Ears and head. I won't do the horns. I'll choose a different color for those. See, I can paint right over this, and it shows through. Very nice. Probably the pencil would have shown through too, but just to be on the safe side, I used the Sharpie. Lighter colors, the pencil is a little bit easier to see through the paint. And again, if you want a second coat, you may, because it is a little streaky. Just wait for it to dry before you go on with the second coat. Otherwise, sometimes it might be like partially dry, and then it makes the paint is kind of like tacky, and it will pull up your first layer and leave just kind of like this gross mess where part of the canvas is still showing through, and then that's really hard to get filled in and covered. So it's just best to wait for it to dry. Okay, get my green. Next I'm going to do my little horns, and I'm going to do a very, very pale yellow. So I'm just going to get my brush cleaned out. And I'm going to take just a little bit of yellow and stir in with a lot of white. So I'm just going to get some nice clean white over here. Oops, there's blue in that. Let's try here. And then just a little bit of yellow. Now I'm just going to add a little at a time until I get it where I want it. I'm going to go a little brighter than that, a little bit more yellow. So about like that. My brush is a little dirty, it's bleeding a little bit of blue. I'm going to clean that out. I am going to brighten that up just a little bit more. There. That's better. Can you see? So it's light yellow compared to this, but it's still got a bit of brightness to it. Then I'm just going to come in and paint my little horns. And there's my horns. Well, next I'm going to add some polka dots, some spots on my monster, and I'm going to use a lighter shade of green. So my green that I painted the monster, I'm going to add quite a bit of white to get a lighter shade. So, let's see, I'm just going to scoop up quite a bit of white and just stir it over in with some of my green. So I've got this nice lighter shade. And to start, I'm just gonna kind of put a little bit of a highlight down the side of his head. So I'm gonna just make sure this isn't gonna bounce out from under me. So starting maybe like right at where this horn is, I'm just gonna bring it down. I'm leaving a little gap. And kind of like a triangle, a long skinny triangle. I've got that shape there. And then I'm going to come down off of that. I'm going to go right off the side of my canvas. And then I'm just going to fill it in. So those two pieces connect. I might need to make this a little bit lighter. What do you guys think? Doesn't really show up that much different. So I'm gonna add a little bit more white to my color. Go from here. Just lighten it up a smidge more. And I'm just gonna go right on top. Okay, now I'm going to start with polka dots. I'm going to do a nice big one coming off the top of his head. Maybe a smaller one to the side. And a nice big one right here. A smaller one here. So I'm just kind of changing up the size. Get it so I can get to the bottom. I'm gonna do a big one here. A great big one over here. I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush and make some smaller ones. Right now I'm just kind of getting my bigger ones in. That one right here on the corner. And you don't have to do it just like mine. You can put your dots wherever you want. Got a big one here. You could even do different colored ones. Okay, I'm gonna switch brushes. Maybe the size so I can make some smaller ones. I'm gonna fit maybe a little one in here. Maybe one in here. It's hard for this easel. Maybe a little one here. Maybe a medium one. Like that. Maybe one in here. We'll call it good. Fabulous. And if you want to go in and do another coat on them, again, that's perfectly fine. Just wait for the first coat to dry. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and paint my eyeballs white. So nice clean brush and just some white paint. I'm gonna paint in around the pupil part. I got a lot of paint on my brush. Get that spread out. And if you go right over top of that pupil, that's fine too. That pencil will show through. Do the other one. And the inside, I'm going to do black. The pupils will be black. It's a little black paint on my brush. Probably should use a smaller brush, especially since this one's got a random hair sticking out of it. Yeah, I'm gonna switch. Switch into a smaller brush. And with my long kind of skinny brush, like this, I'm gonna thin out my black, which means I'm just going to dip my brush in my water jar. And the water from the bristles, I'm just gonna stir in to a little bit of black just to thin it out. And with this thinned out black paint, I'm going to put the mouth in. It's just easier to do outline-y kind of work with a thinner paint. It just goes on and flows so much easier. Oops, I got a big old blob right there. So let's start. Just take your time, outline. Okay, got his little mouth. I'm gonna put little X's in the ears just to make them a little more fun. That's cute. And let's see, he needs teeth. So with my kind of bigger brush, medium-sized brush, I'm gonna use just some white paint and do those teeth on the mouth. I want my black to be dry though. I'm going to just go ahead and blow it dry. Okay, so I've got my medium-ish brush and I'm gonna just use some white paint and I'm gonna give him how about 3 teeth? How about one that comes up here? Pretty big. One. And you can do as many as you want. I'll do one right next to it and they could be small, square like this, or you could do like sharp teeth. I'm gonna have to touch up my black line. Probably should have done the teeth first. Live and learn. And how about one that goes all the way over here? Oop, too much. I need to make that more straight. He's got crooked teeth. Trying to make them the same size. Definitely gonna have to go in and touch up my mouth line, but that's okay. And over here, let's give him one that's kind of crooked to the side. How's he look? Is he ridiculous? That's perfect. He's a cute, fun monster. And I'm just kind of putting on another coat just so they're nice and bright white. I'll go back in and touch up my black line just a smidge, just so that the white gets covered where I kind of slopped it down here. So just a little bit of black on my brush. I'm just gonna go right over it. And that one I did pretty okay on. This one's got like a little weird spot. And I think I'm done. Maybe, I don't know. Should we do something with the horns? I'm gonna put some polka dots on the horns. I'm gonna brighten up my yellow. So like on the body we have lighter greens. So on the yellow I'll do brighter yellow. So a little bit more yellow, just stirred in with some of my lighter yellow. I still want it yellow. Oh, I got black on my brush getting mixed in. Yuck. So it's important to get your brushes cleaned out very well. I'm just gonna stir it in and say that's fine. It's very little bits, so you can't really see it. And I'm just gonna put some, oh, we need to be brighter than that, don't we? Adding more yellow into my yellow. Because I can't really see it. It's very subtle. I'm just putting some bright polka dots on top. I could see it like up close, but I don't think you'd be able to see it far away. And I don't know if you could see it through the camera because I lose a lot of detail in the video. And one more little one. So he's got little spots on his horns. This one's a little globby. And I think we're done. And I want to highlight the side of my horn. I'm going to blow this dry. So I kind of put a highlight on the side of his head here. I'm just going to take some white and put a little highlight on the side of his head, horns. So just with some white paint and my medium, or the small square brush, can you see the size? Just a little bit of white paint. Let me find a nice clean spot of white. I'm just gonna run down the side. And I'll do it on the same side, so it's the left-hand side of both. It's a little highlight. Now I'm done. I'm gonna sign my name, but with some light yellow, or sorry, light green. I'm just gonna make it very, very light with some white. And just down here on the bottom, sign my name. And done. So when you're finished, go ahead and sign your name. I like to see your finished work, so please take pictures. You can post them to my Facebook page, Willy-Nilly. I've got a post pinned right at the top. You can find it super easy. Just put them there and I'll check them out. I appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.